Hello everyone, happy Friday. We're going to go ahead and start a new section today, and that is how to solve a radical equation. If you have a radical equation, that means first of all you need to have a radical sign, and you need to have a variable underneath that radical sign. And in order to solve, well, just think about what we've done in the past. We want to get the variable by itself. In order to do that, you need to make sure and undo the operation you see. In other words, find the inverse operation. For example, in addition, the inverse is to subtract. So you would use subtraction if you had something like x plus 3 equals 7. In order to get x by itself, you would have to subtract 3 on both sides, and then you get x equals 4. If you had a multiplication problem, so let's say 4x equals 8, we would undo the multiplication by 4 by dividing by 4, and you get x equals 2. So that's a case where you would have to divide in order to undo multiplication. So the question for today is, how do you suppose we should undo a square root? Well, think about what the opposite of a square root is. To find the square root of something, that means we have to think of what number squared equals the number of underneath the radical. And so that's the key. The opposite of square rooting something is to find the square of something. And those two cancel. Just like if you have, for example, the square root of x squared, we've talked about this before, the radical part here and the exponent of 2, those are opposites and they cancel each other out. And that's why the square root of x squared is just x. So our key idea for today, to undo a square root in an equation, you must square both sides. And something else that's really important is you want to make sure to get that radical by itself before you start squaring. Otherwise, it's going to make the problem a lot more complicated. So let's go ahead and try this next example. It says, for steps to success when solving radical equations, step 1, just like I said, is make sure to get the radical alone. So no matter what else is going on in this problem, no matter what is underneath the radical, you need to move everything away from the radical first. So in this particular case, we have the square root of 3x plus 1 minus 2 equals 6. All right, well, we need to somehow get rid of that minus 2. The way to do that is to add 2 on both sides, and then that gives us the square root of 3x plus 1 is equal to 8. So step 1 taken care of. All right, now we have a radical, and it's all by itself. That means undoing the radical, so squaring both sides will help us. So if we have the square root of 3x plus 1 equals 8, go ahead and square on the left, square on the right. The radical and the exponent of 2 will cancel each other out, and we get 3x plus 1 equals 8 squared is 64. All right, so far we moved things away from the radical, we squared both sides, and now there's no more radical symbol. We've solved equations like this before, we can do it. Our third step is to solve for x. So undo the plus 1 by subtracting 1 on both sides. That gives us 3x equals 63. And then divide by 3 on both sides, which will give us x equals 21. Seems like a final answer to me. But I have to warn you that in radical equations, sometimes you can plug in an answer and one of two things might happen. One thing is that when you plug in your value of x, you might end up with a negative number under the radical. And if you remember, we've talked about this before, you cannot ever take the square root of a negative number, at least not with real numbers. Eventually, when you get to Algebra 2, you'll see something different, but that's not what we're going to focus on today. The other thing that might happen is that you might end up with something where you have a radical is equal to a negative number, and that also is not okay. That's a case where we would have no real solution. So what you'd always want to do is go ahead and plug that answer back in to make sure that it works. That's why we have step 4 on here. Can your answer actually work? All right, let's see what this says. What types of numbers cannot be inside radicals? Well, we just said a radical cannot be equal to a negative number. And also, you cannot take the square root of a negative number. So having a negative either equal to a radical or underneath a radical in its final simplified form, both of those would cause trouble. All right, so checking your work, let's take a look at it over here. The square root of 3x plus 1 minus 2 equals 6 is our original problem. If we go ahead and take the x equals 21 and plug it in here in place of x, let's see if it works. That would give us the square root of 3 times 21 plus 1. And then I'm going to copy everything else down. Minus 2 equals 6. I'm going to write a question mark because I don't know if that works or not. That's why I'm checking. So 3 times 21 is 63. So this really gives us the square root of 63 plus 1, then minus 2 equals 6. Well, I still don't know. So I'm going to go back. 63 plus 1 is 64, but that's still under the radical. Minus 2 equals 6. Totally, nope, not done yet. Square root of 64 is 8. 8 minus 2 equals 6. Now that's talking. I think that's true. 8 minus 2, sure enough, is 6. 6 equals 6 is correct. This does work out, and that is your final answer. Now, in some cases, you might see problems where it will say, show your work to check the answer. In other cases, like on a Math Excel, for example, you could just do this on the side, or you could always use your calculator as well. Let's try it out in the calculator. If you take that out, go ahead and plug in square root of, it was 3 times 21, and then plus 1. Now here's the tricky part. Make sure that in order to get out from under the radical, you use your right arrow. And there we go. Now you can tell that the cursor is outside of the radical. Then it was minus 2. When you click that, you'll see that that is equal to 6, and that's what the problem said. It said the square root of 3x plus 1 minus 2 is supposed to be equal 6. So if you have a case where you'd like to do this by hand, you certainly can. You can plug in the 21 for x like I showed you, but you can also just go ahead and plug it into your calculator too. All right, so key things, make sure to check your solutions. You can do that using your calculator. If for some reason you get an answer that doesn't make sense, like maybe instead of getting 6 equals 6 here, maybe I got 6 equals negative 6, I would have to say, well, that didn't work, so there's no solution. All right, please go ahead and turn the page. We have a couple different types of examples of problems in this section, and today we're going to talk about level 1 and level 2. The key still is get the radical alone first. Well, the good news in number 1 is that radical is alone. So I can just go ahead and square both sides. I'm going to go ahead and square on the left and square on the right. And the beautiful thing of a radical and a square is, again, they're inverse operations, so they cancel each other out. That gives us x equals 3 squared, which is 9. And guess what? X is by itself. That wasn't nearly as long as the problem on the first page. The first page I wanted to give you a little more complicated one, just so you could see all the steps in a row. This one is a little bit easier. All right, but don't forget, it's always a good idea to check your answer. So go ahead and check, and you can do this by hand or in your calculator. I'm going to rewrite the original problem and plug in 9 for x, and then I'm going to put a question mark. The square root of 9 equals 3. Well, the square root of 9 is 3. On the other side, that's 3. Check. It works. So you're in good shape. All right, for number 2, let's go ahead and try that. We have the square root of x plus 9 equals 0. Step 1, get the radical alone. Well, the radical is not alone. There's a plus 9 in the way, so we better undo that by subtracting 9 on both sides. That gives us then the square root of x equals negative 9. I hope that you hear an alarm bell going. I hope that you say, wait a second, we can't have that. You're not allowed to have a radical equal to a negative. And so because of that, we're allowed to go straight into no real solution. This is not possible. Okay, and that's because, like we said on the other page, you cannot take the square root of a negative number, and you cannot have a radical equal to a negative number. Those are the two big no-nos. But what if you didn't notice that? What's going to happen? Well, let's say you didn't. Then if you had the square root of x equals negative 9, and you went ahead and you squared both sides, watch out here. I'm going to put parentheses because there's a negative here, and if I don't watch out, I might forget that it gets squared as well. So the square root of x squared is x. The negative 9 times negative 9 would be 81. And then if you go back in and check, we would have the square root of x, which is 81, plus 9 equals 0. True or false? Well, let's go ahead and try it out and see what the calculator says. I'm going to say the square root of 81, then to get out of it, use my right arrow, plus 9, and it's supposed to equal 0, and it doesn't. It equals 18 instead. That means that didn't work. So, nope. 9 plus 9 equals 0 was a fail. Not going to happen. So we're back to no real solution. So the key is if you can be on the lookout for any time you have a radical equals a negative and then jump straight to no real solution, that would be good. All right, in our next example, we have two radicals, not one, but both of them are already by themselves. So you can go ahead and square both sides. Take a moment and try that. See what happens. Did you get 5y minus 2 equals 3? If you square both sides, that means both radicals will disappear. I'd like you to take another minute or two and finish out number 3. Go ahead and get y by itself. And then in number 4, try that on your own. Keep in mind the radical must be alone before you square both sides. All right, please check your answers. Hopefully you got y equals 1 for number 3 and x equals 16 for number 4. If you go back in and check those in your calculator, you should get 2 equivalent answers on each side. When you're done, please go ahead and take a look at number 5. For these last 3 problems, you'll see that there is a little more going on in each one. The key is to get the radical by itself, then square both sides, then solve for x. So in this case, we should subtract 7 from both sides, and then we'll get the radical alone. Squaring both sides, we'll get rid of the radical on the left, so we just have 5x, and 10 squared is 100. Now we need to divide both sides by 5, and we'll end up with x equals 20. And again, you can go back and check your answer in the calculator or on a piece of paper. In number 5, what is the first step? Should you undo the multiplying by 4 or the adding 4? The key is always start outside the radical. So it is this 4 out in front that we must remove. So divide by 4 on both sides. That leaves us radical of x plus 4 is equal to 6. And now look at that. Our radical is by itself. So we can square on the left, square on the right. The radical and the squared cancel each other out, leaving us with x plus 4. And 6 squared is 36. All right, finish up that step. What do you need to do? Hopefully you subtracted 4 on both sides, and that would give us x equals 32. All right, we've got one more to go in this video, and it looks like we've got lots of negative signs. Don't let that scare you off. We just need to start out by getting the radical by itself. So let's divide both sides by negative 2. We've got then the square root of 26 minus n equals, oh, look at that. A negative divided by a negative cancels to a positive. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Hey, the radical's by itself. So what time is it? It's squaring time. There you go. 26 minus n equals 7 squared, which is 49. And you've got just a couple steps there. Go ahead and see if you can get n by itself. If it helps, think of this minus n as a minus 1n, if you'd like. Hopefully you subtracted 26 on both sides and then divided by negative 1 to get n equals negative 23. Now, we did talk about how negatives could pose problems earlier, but just because the variable is negative is not the concern. It's what happens when you plug the variable back in that could get you into trouble. If n is negative, but when you plug it back in, there is still a positive number under the radical, like there is in this case, then you're okay. Take a look at when I wrote over here with this check. I rewrote the problem as negative 2 times the square root of 26 minus a negative 23 equals negative 14. That's what we need to double check. Here's the key though. Look at that. Double negative makes a plus. So this is really negative 2 times the square root of 26 plus 23, which is 49. Negative 2 times the square root of 49, well, that's negative 2 times 7, which is negative 14. And sure enough, that is the same thing as itself. Negative 14 equals negative 14. If you don't like doing it this way, try it on the calculator. Type it in there, and you'll see also that this is still the same thing as negative 14. All right, I hope that this is making some sense to you. Again, our key idea is get that radical by itself. Now, please upload your notes and try the Math Excel.